All right, Dominic, glad to have you on, buddy. How you doing?
Very good, man. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for thinking of me.
Yeah, well, I've been on Instagram for a couple years, and I don't know when I started seeing your stuff. Probably around last year. Is that when you started your channel?
Mm, maybe like 2 years ago, but just kind of stagnant and starting to really this year and a little bit late into last year. Probably tried to start promoting a little more and just share some of the stuff that I'm doing.
Okay, yeah. So I saw your stuff a while ago, and I was like, dang, those are some really good looking panels, and it reminds me a lot of Illuminati. So, because Jimmy over there, he's been around for a while, like on social media, and so when I saw your stuff, I'm like, hold on a second, that's not him, that's someone different. Like I didn't know someone else could do that kind of stuff. So
For sure.
yeah, but so I was wanting to. We'll talk about that later. I guess we've talked a little bit through text message, so I just wanted for you to tell everybody who you are and where you're from and how you got started in the trades.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. My name is Dominic Sonesen. I'm up in New York. I live on Long Island, and I'm 38 now. I got into the trades in 2004. So I graduated high school in 2003, and the thing to do was just like go to college. And I knew for sure, like looking back at it now, I was just going. I had no idea why I was going. I spent more time just driving to school and then sitting in the parking lot and not actually going into school. So I made it through the first year, and then it was the summer before my like sophomore year, and I was outside. I was washing my dirt bike, and my mom yelled out, and she's like, "Yo, Dad's one of Dad's friends on the phone wants to know if you want to be an electrician." I was like, "Yeah, let's do it," and I ended up going to work for him. I got right into the IBEW and did a 5 year apprenticeship program, and yeah, I turned out in '09, and I stuck it out with them. Right when I turned out, used to graduate and graduate to unemployment. Basically, you would go to the back of the list, and in '09 times weren't super great then, so there was heavy unemployment. So they kept me, which was cool, but I became the low man on the low journeyman on the totem pole. So from like 2009 to 2012, every like Halloween to Valentine's Day, say, I would get laid off, which is pretty sweet because I was still living at home. I was collecting unemployment, supplementary unemployment benefits. So it
Hmm.
was cool. But then in 2012, I got that layoff and I was like number 200 on the list. The company was
Mm,
slow. I
yeah.
stayed with that company through my whole apprenticeship. So I never got rotated. I never got to like see other companies or get my name out there. So I was kind of like, now what? And then now I'm getting older and I'm like, all right, like this is no way to live. Let me go get one of my electrical licenses. So I went out and got my first license in 2013. And then, as fate would have it, I ran into my old boss again. We always stayed in touch, that there were no
Yeah.
hard feelings. I ran into him in a Dick's Sporting Goods, and he was leaving that company and he was going to start working in New York City. He opened up another company. So I went to
Yeah.
work with him again. We started working in New York City together.
Okay. So you got in the trades. Did you say after high school? Is that right?
Yeah, I did 1 year of
Yeah.
college.
You did 1 year of
And
college,
then
and then that wasn't your thing, or
yeah, no,
yeah.
definitely wasn't my thing. I had done a lot of hands-on stuff throughout my whole life. My dad was in the auto body business,
Hmm.
so any days off of school I had, I was going to hang with him.
Sure.
And I had summer jobs. I worked at an entry door place. I was doing furniture assembly, but yeah, the college it wasn't for me. Honestly, I didn't even know trades were an option.
Sure. Yeah. So, like for me, because I'm turning 32. So you said you're 38, right? We're 6 years apart. Even when I was in high school, uh, like basically the last thing you want to do is go to the military or get in a trade. It was kind of like the bottom of the totem pole stuff. Whether maybe someone didn't really say that, like that, but that's kind of
Sure.
how those things were viewed. And so back then, college was like your only option. You weren't gonna probably do. do really good in your career unless you went and got a degree. And so I was basically doing the same thing, just going to college, and I had like some interests. They were so all over the place, like meteorology, marine biology. I mean, I didn't know what I was going to do with that degree, but the classes were cool. Um,
Sure.
so I was taking all these courses, not knowing what I was really going to do, just because all my friends were doing it, and I thought that was the thing to do. And it all worked out. Like it was perfect timing. But I know what you mean, though. Like I get DMs often from adults and younger people asking like, what's the best route to go as far as getting the trades. And like you said, there's different routes. You can join the IBEW. That seems to be the most common option, at least to start out.
Sure.
And for you, how long did you say? I can't remember. How long did you say you were in the IBEW?
The apprenticeship was 5 years. So I got in '04 to, and then I was in it till 12.
Okay, so you were in there for a while.
So yeah, for sure. Like I have pension credits sitting in there. Not many, but I'm a vested member. So at some point when I retire, um, those will come my way.
Yeah,
Not,
right.
not much, but you always keep your options open. You never burn a bridge. Maybe one day I'll sign with them again.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, you never know. You never want to burn a bridge if you can avoid it. Yeah.
For sure.
So 2012 comes. Is that what you said? And then that's when you got laid off.
Yeah. And then I
Okay.
faced like my first for real bout of unemployment. That was like at
Yep.
least a year,
And
you
then when
know.
did you get into self-employment?
Self employment came 2019.
Okay, so there was a gap there.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I ran into my old boss. We went to the city.
Hmm.
We worked together again. Well, he ran the company. I worked for him and stuff. So that was huge experience. I don't think without those years that I could have made the leap into doing what I'm doing now for sure.
Hmm.
Give me a lot of experience, and even like reflecting back on it now, it was that definitely qualified me to, or gave me the confidence too to make this jump. And then yeah, 2019 we did that.
Okay, so I guess were you already building up a clientele during probably like the previous several years leading up to 2019?
No, not
Oh,
not at
okay.
all,
Usually
not
guys
at
do
all,
side work illegally, and that's how they build up their
for
clientele.
sure. Yeah, I had been
Yeah.
doing side work. It really, so I have a partner in the business.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and he was um, doing his own thing in the city also, and he was very successful what he was doing. He was calling. He's like, "Dude, when you're ready, let's go. Let's open this business."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "I got the connects now. I got the work. Let's go. Let's go."
Mm.
And I'm like, "Nah, like I can't leave. Where I'm at.
Yeah.
I gotta do it." And then, as fate would have it, in 2019, my old boss decided to close up shop.
Mm.
So in the beginning of 2019, I started finishing up with him as we together, me and my partner, started this other one. So by the back end of 2019, we were up and going.
Okay, so he was shutting down. So you were kind of I don't know what other word to use. You were forced into that, or I mean, it just worked out that way with him shutting
It was
down and
a
everything.
it was a good segue. It was you go home, talk to the wife, and
Sure.
you know kind of decide like, yo, we're gonna go for this. And what better time? It's not like I had to leave. I didn't have to go look for other work. And well, I mean, technically I did, but we decided to give it a shot and go for it.
Yeah. So you said you have your business partners with him. Is it just y'all two that does mostly the work, or do y'all
It's
have
actually,
employees?
yeah, no, well, uh, we did. Right now, it's just him and I.
Mm-hmm.
It's just him and I. So we had some summer help in 2019 into 2020. We had help. Actually, a guy that I used to work with in the union came on board with us, which was awesome. It was nice to have somebody that I could
Mm-hmm.
trust. I could leave on a job. He knew the kind of quality I was expecting, and it was like a really seamless having him on board.
Okay. Um. So do y'all sub out guys occasionally?
Yeah, if
Okay.
we need to, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm actually. So today is what, Tuesday, January. What is it? The 29th or 30th? What's the date today?
30th, I think now.
The 30th. Okay. So So this Friday, I'm going out to LA with Will from Energize Us CDU, and they're having a contractor meetup. And basically, I think it's mostly local contractors in the LA area, and I'm just going out there to basically help, you know, expose or give exposure to the school and everything. Um, but that's something that they're going to talk about is business stuff and how to be a better electrical contractor. And something that like I'm dealing with right now is I have a work partner. We're not business partners, but we basically do everything together. And so we're trying to work through the best way about doing that. We've thought about joining up like y'all did, but I think we're just gonna keep separate. But we operate like everyone thinks we're business partners, but we're really not. And we're trying to
Gotcha.
figure out the best way to go about moving forward with help because basically we don't have enough work to hire W-2 employees. So what we do is we just 1099 our friends who work at our previous companies we used to work at,
Sure.
get them on the weekends and stuff like that. And so that's kind of where we're at. Like sometimes we're really busy for like 2 or 3 weeks and we need all the help we can get. And then it just slows down like crazy. Like the past 2 weeks, I haven't really had a lot. And so now we're kind of trying to do more stuff on our own than bringing in all these people because like there's no need to get work done so fast. I didn't know if you or y'all dealt with similar issues at least starting out in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure. It's a lot to do everything by yourself, to own and to do the operating later on too.
Mm,
But same situation. If you don't have enough to keep somebody steady, like I'm not going to have somebody come on and then in 2 or 3 weeks, hey, dude, I don't have anything for you. Like the chances
yep.
that I'm going to get him back are like pretty
Right.
slim,
Zero.
So
Yep.
I don't want to, maybe that was some of the experience that I had with, working for somebody
Mm,
previously. Like I always saw that stress was to like, what's next? What's next? And I lived that life too, where it was like, man, is this company going to have work next week? Are we going to have
sure.
work next week? Or it's coming, it's coming. And I don't want to, put anybody in that position. I'd rather be honest. Or if I got to grind it out myself, grind it out myself.
Yeah, like we don't want to. We're not at a point to where we feel comfortable being responsible for someone's livelihood. So if we can
Right.
just sub guys, and I know Will's going to get on to me for this, like subbing is a huge expense, but I don't
Sure.
really know how else to do it right now because, like, if I have a huge job on a Saturday, I got to bring in help, or else I'm never going to get done with the thing in the time frame that probably the customer wants me to. So I have to bring all this help in on weekends. Well, there's no incentive for them to come help me unless I'm at least beating their overtime pay by a little bit, right? Because if
For
I'm not even
sure.
paying them overtime, they can just go work at their regular job and be comfortable. And like, no, I'm not. Why would I want to,
It's
get
got to be
1099
worth
by
it.
you later?
Right. Right.
So
For sure.
yeah, so right now it's like we're paying a lot out on help occasionally, and I don't know. I'm not perfect at this, and trying to learn from guys like you and other contractors out there, trying to figure out the best way to go about doing everything.
And I wish I had some better advice for you. This is every day is a learning experience for me. It really is.
So so you're in Long Island, dude. I can't imagine uh, going from where I'm at in the boondocks to basically running around in New York City all the time. But I'm guessing you're used to it by now since that's where you're from, right? Born and raised, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So the I guess when I was younger, the city was only for going out and partying. And then once I started working in there and you get to see what's going on in there and it's a wild place. It's a wild place. I haven't been too many other places really, but when you go in the city, you can see everything you can imagine.
So, like, do you do work in Manhattan and all up through there?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh wow.
Manhattan. I was in Manhattan during COVID for some time. That
Wow.
was interesting for some riots. That was
Oh boy.
interesting. Yeah, so it's
Oh, so you're
it's
like working, you're like doing jobs down there, and all that stuff would be going down sometimes.
yeah, the last project I did with my boss was on Fifth Avenue, the Mastercard building. Fifth Avenue's a nice avenue, lots of nice stores. And I'm coming down and I'm like, that building looks like it's on fire. And it's
What?
across the street from our job site, and it's the Kate Spade, like corner store, and they took one of the mini dumpsters, they roll it across the street, they throw it through the glass, and it's wild.
Oh
It's wild.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I went up to Nika, the one it was in Philly last September, the big
sure.
electrical convention, and me and my wife took the train from Philly. This is after the convention was over, to New York City for the day because neither of us had been there, and I've always wanted to go to New York City. I'm not a city guy. Like I was fine with a day in New York
Yeah,
City. Uh, but man, it is it is night and day difference from where I'm at. So I just
I'm
can't imagine
yeah.
driving around and all that stuff. Like we're in taxis. I'm like, I don't know how these you get anywhere around here.
Yeah, you definitely it tests your patience, it tests your willpower. Some days it'll I'm working in Brooklyn, which is just outside of Manhattan. On
Hmm.
some days 2.5 hours to get home.
Oh wow.
Like
Yep.
it's not that far.
Yep.
I average like 7 miles an hour. It's wild.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's wild.
We basically went down. We came into Times Square, right, and then we walked around for a while, and then we ate pizza at oh shoot, it's the old pizza place in New York. It's Lombardi's. Lombardi's.
Okay,
We
sure.
ate there, and then we went down to the 9/11 memorial. I've always wanted to go there for a very long time and got to see that, and then basically caught the train ride home to Philly that night. And so me and my wife, on the way back, we're like, I think we're good. It was crazy. It was just crazy. Just so many people everywhere.
Yeah, of from all walks of life too. Everywhere you look.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, awesome. So you've been at this for, let's see, 2019 is 2024, like 5 years basically, or almost 5 years. And like, how's it been going for you overall?
You ever see that picture where it's like the road to success, what you think it's going to be like, and it's like a
Mm-hmm.
linear line? Yeah,
Yep.
I am living the real one where it's like like
Yeah.
real life. So we did start in 2019, of course, and then COVID did hit. So there were some shutdowns that we went through,
Mm-hmm.
and then I tried. Let me get my timeline right. That was a rough year. We made it through it. Early 2021, then I probably missed half the year. I had back surgery in the beginning of that year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was pretty jacked up from like January to April was my
Mm-hmm.
surgery. So like bad news. Thank God that the kid that was working with me, he kept the job alive, and big shout out to him for sure. But I was in bad shape. I like lived on the floor for like 3.5 months until it got to the point where my wife was like, our firstborn is coming in a month. Like, you got to get this
Mm-hmm.
surgery. She was driving me. Thank God she was working from home, new rules and COVID and stuff. But yeah, I was pretty jacked up with that. And then my son was born in May of 21. So I would say, even though we started in 19, it really doesn't feel like we got started till 2022 and started like,
Yeah.
getting some things going and getting some consistency. So
Sure.
for me, it's really only been, you know, like 2 years.
Oh yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I think I started after Nika, so it's been what 4 months now, and we're doing well, but we've already we've already had our fair share of trials already. So and mainly just it's mainly just a lack of experience on my end. Not that we've done anything wrong necessarily, but I talked about this in some Instagram lives recently, but I can't get into the details yet. I will months down. But homeowner GCs, we've had like hour-long discussions on Instagram lives about homeowner GCs, and it's been a learning experience for sure.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. I can
Yep.
imagine.
Yep.
Yeah, it's been an interesting transition, like into being an owner, because in a way, I was a foreman out in the field, right?
Yep.
So working in Manhattan, I got a nice big shanty, I got a big plan bench, and I have somebody who feeds me everything. They feed me the blueprints, they feed me the submittals. I have a computer there, like everything's there for me. And then you become a business owner, and you're like, wow, now I got to go out and get everything. I got to do these submittals, and it becomes, if you're out in
Mm-hmm.
the field as a foreman and you have a question, you reach out and someone's going to take care of that for you. Hey, can you find out about this?
Sure.
Yep, they get back to you. Now it's like, I don't even know, like, another owner. Oh, well, things are changing now with social media, because the
Mm-hmm.
positive impact of that is guys like yourself and Will are reaching out and we're connecting and we can lean on each other. But over here, I don't have anybody that I could reach out and ask for some guidance and stuff. So kind of paving your own way was something I fought for a long time, till I kind of accepted, like, okay, this is on me. I gotta do this.
Sure. Do you know who Modern Electrician is on Instagram? His name's Doug, and his brother Josh do a
I follow
podcast.
them. Yeah, I
Okay.
follow them.
So they did a podcast about a year ago, I would say, and they were talking about basically going out on their own and just business ownership. And I can't remember what episode it was or podcast it was exactly, but Doug and Josh were making some good points. Like, as an employee, there's only so much you have to worry about and think about, right? Whatever your role is, and
100%.
that's it, right? And so many times employees are quick to judge their bosses. Now, there may be some truth in those judgments, I don't know, but the point is like, you're not the one making those big time decisions, with dealing with customers. You're dealing with the money. You're making the bids, and you're responsible for your employees' livelihoods. There's just so much. Like, I feel like as an employee, if you're in, you know, if you're just in a situation where you're not happy, maybe with whoever your supervisor is or boss, again, I don't know. You may need to leave. I don't know, but there's so much more than probably what you see going on, because we want to be so quick to judge how they do things. Why wouldn't they just do it this way? They're so dumb, and it's like, look, man, it's a lot
For
easier to
sure.
say that when you don't have to worry about making those types of decisions. Because I've had to make decisions. I'm like, oh wow, I've never really thought about that before. I'm the one that has to give an answer right now.
Yeah, for sure, man. And really looking back on it, like, now that I'm in this position, I was probably like that to an extent. And my boss and we were close personally and professionally. So I was with him a lot and I did see a lot of behind the scenes, but no matter how much I saw behind the scenes, I never saw like all of it.
Right.
Like, if I lock the gang box up at 3:30 and I'm a foreman, maybe I'll get a phone call or something, or maybe I'll have to do a little bit after work, but I, I'll see you in the morning. You know what I mean? I lock the
Sure.
gang box up now, and it's like nothing changed except I locked the gang box. Like, you're
Yeah.
just on all the time now. So, yeah,
Right.
I was definitely guilty of that a little bit.
Well, I think we've all been guilty of that for sure. But yeah, so we in the beginning we were talking about your Instagram channel and how you came on the scene in recent past. And so your company is called Diamondback Electrical Solutions, and that is also your Instagram handle, right? I think that's what it is.
Just
Yeah.
diamond, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The diamond, the logo in the back for the people on YouTube. That's basically your logo on Instagram. But yeah, Diamondback Electrical Solutions. You can find Dominic there. But what caught my attention for the YouTube people here, the podcast people won't be able to see this, but these are some. I only have two pictures. I had like 10, but I was having technical difficulties leading up to this, so I'm sorry I couldn't show more. You can go check out his channel if you want to see more. But these panels, man, they are so freaking neat, crisp, and clean. Like, I just love looking at your pictures that you post. So, dude, I've sat here and tried to, whenever I do a house, tried to mirror that type of work. And no matter how hard I try, because eventually I just have to get it done. Like, I can't sit there all day long. Like, like
Right.
no matter how hard I try, even as a business owner where the hours don't really matter, I'm trying to get them that straight. I can't do it. What's the secret?
Oh man, I appreciate that. I don't know, man. I'm getting a lot of love for it. I get a lot of hate for it too, which is bizarre. But a lot of people are reaching out and asking me how I really do it. I think I'm gonna have to just do a little content creation, which really isn't my forte necessarily, but I'll start filming it and doing some things. Listen, the Romex comes straight. That's pretty easy. anything. If I'm doing MC or anything, untwist the 12-2, untwist the three conductors, and I'll take a screwdriver and I'll just like run it up and down the conductor, front side, back side, and it takes the
Okay,
width
so
out
on
of
what now?
everything.
You're taking you're taking a screwdriver and doing it like long ways like this, and basically ironing it.
Yeah, like if you could see my mic here, I'll
Yeah.
just take this right out of the top of the panel board and I just run it, right down the MC. So I'm just running it along the
Oh,
conductor.
okay.
So like up and down, I'll do the front, I'll do the back, and it takes that like curl out of it.
Yep.
So that's that, and yeah, they're.
So like,
I just
but there's a
go at it.
sequence. There's a sequence
There
though.
is a sequence for
That's
sure.
where because I've tried different sequences, and either A, I'm not doing it right no matter what I do, or B, like there's a way to do it because Rudy from Right Wire has said that he takes his biggest gauge wire, and that's the first one that goes in anywhere. It doesn't matter if it comes on the left or right side. That's the one that basically like starts the path, and then like I don't know,
Hmm.
like how do you do it?
Yeah, I'll take care of all my grounds first, no matter
Yeah.
what. Um, I think somewhere on my page is a good. Maybe I'll repost. I'll tag you so you can see
Yeah,
it. A good
I know
like
it's hard
step
to
by
talk
step.
about it just like talking, but without
Yeah,
showing
so
it.
I'll do all the grounds first for sure. I depending on how many grounds are in the panel, because of my OCD or whatever it is, like I'll put two separate ground bars in. Like
Oh, okay. Like on one on
it's
the
my
left side, one on the
company
right side.
for sure. Yeah, yeah. Solely for aesthetics and to please myself. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean?
Hey,
Just
you're free
to
to do what
keep
you want to do.
everything neat for sure. And then I'll take care of the neutrals next. And throughout this whole time, I'm just separating everything. I'm putting whatever conductors on the even side, on the odd side that I don't need. I'm tying them up out of the way.
Mhm.
Dress all the neutrals in, and then yeah, I start dressing up the hots. And I'll pretty much when I enter the cables into the panel too, I'll keep that in mind. I'll try to keep it balanced. Like if I have some 10 gauge multiple times, I'll put one on the left, one on the right. I usually do that
Mm.
first. I try to keep that at the top. And then some of these residential homes that I'm doing, if they have like two other panels, one on the we've been doing that a lot lately. We'll put a main panel in the basement, a sub on the first floor, and a sub upstairs.
Mm.
These are big homes. They're like 7,000 square foot.
Mm.
So any of those sub feeds that are coming out, I'll bring them through the bottom so they don't really mess up my smaller branch circuits.
Yeah. So
So then it
that's
just
the biggest.
becomes like methodical. I'll dress one, I'll pick a shape, I'll bring it in, and then just start bringing them in.
So do you start with your bigger gauge wire though, no matter what, or you just go however it falls in your knockouts on the top? What's your reference point?
Yeah, I usually thinking about it. Yeah, I'll usually put the bigger one at the top.
Okay. So the bigger one's going first. But
Yeah,
you put it in the knockout that it needs to go in the panel, right? And then you just work your way across.
usually like the back corners because I'll
Yep.
dress that in, turn right in, and then all those smaller circuits, they'll hide that.
Yep. Yep. That's
Because
right.
if it's bigger, if it's stranded, it's not as easy to keep shape, obviously.
Sure. Sure.
So
So
and
a
then
lot of those panels are sub panels, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The one photo with the fewer circuits, that's a sub panel. The other one, I don't remember. I'd have to see it again.
I think this one right here. I don't know if you can. Well, I
That's
don't know
a
if you can see
yeah.
that,
That's
but
a that's the first panel. The generator ATS is right to the right of that one. So that
oh,
is the
okay.
first panel.
And then on this
the
one, this looks like
Yeah,
a
it's the
sub
sub
feed,
panel.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So see
So
that shot right there?
yeah.
See it coming down vertically?
Uh huh.
How they're clean like that. So on if I have more circuits in the panel, I have that one skinny tie wrap right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll dress all the cables in real good. I'll have them all lined up and nothing's crossing. I'll put that one tie wrap on. I'll put another tie wrap below it and I'll start working it down and it organizes the cables for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll
Yeah.
start, folding them over to the breakers and stuff.
Sure. Um. Yeah, dude. Well, I still, man, I still can't do that. Like, what the problem is, we don't have a lot of sub panels, um, like where I'm at, and so what we run here is 4 aught 2 aught aluminum, and they don't require emergency disconnects here unless you just want to have an ATS outside.
Interesting.
So yeah. So it's just like the meter base on the pole, and then it just comes straight into the panel. It's not a sub panel.
Gotcha.
So I have my big my 4-aught 2-aught aluminum coming in, and that screws everything up. Like every time, like I would basically have to put all of my panels upside down to where my leads are coming in and just boom hitting the bottom. I could probably make my panels look better if I did it that way, but if I have my panel upright and not turned upside down, it's basically impossible to make it look that clean.
Yeah, I do try to do bottom fed as often as I can.
So you put yours upside down? Okay.
Yep.
Maybe
Yeah,
I should
get
start
that
doing
feed
that
in
too.
the bottom and then just keep all the branch at the top.
Sure. Yeah. So a minute ago you were talking about haters. I'm just curious. I think I know what you're gonna say. What's the big deal with doing what you're doing? I don't understand.
Oh my God. I don't know. Nobody else can do it. They're mad. I don't know. Like, what's wrong with somebody? You know what
He's
kills me?
hourly,
I'm
but again,
hourly.
yeah, he's not hourly.
Try to do that with stranded. You can't because it's stranded.
Yeah.
Um, it's ridiculous. I get a lot of comments like, "Oh, these residential guys, blah blah
Mm.
blah." And dude, I posted a picture of a panel. I'm 20 years an electrician. How do you know what I did? So
Yeah.
it got to that first one of my first reels that I posted got a fair amount of attention, and it like sucked me in for a minute, and I was getting aggravated, and I wanted to like reply to everybody and prove to them like what I've done, and I was like, wait a minute, it's like this is
Hmm.
this does not matter. I gotta turn my notifications off. That's not why I'm on Instagram, and I'm just gonna keep sharing my work,
That's
and
awesome.
that's it. You know, I get a lot of love for it too, so that's cool. A lot of people are messaging on the side, "Hey, how you doing that? You're inspiring me," showing me pictures of their panels and stuff, and I'm here for that. You know, I'm here
Sure.
to keep the positivity. It's all good.
Right. I think it's cool how because you basically just post pictures and reels of your work. You don't really do anything other than that. And I think it's cool that guys like you and Jimmy over Illuminati have such a big influence on these guys by just posting your quality work because it's definitely inspired me to try to do better for sure.
For sure. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, yeah. Jimmy's and in a way, he probably inspired me to open up this like business side of things.
Hmm.
The business account, I had been following him for a long time on my personal Instagram page, and just like wow. And our panels are clean, but very different from each other.
That's right. They are.
I was just
Yeah.
talking to him the other day. He roughs Romex in like I've never seen before. Like I cannot for the life of me get my Romex to look like he does in his like cable organizers and like the stackets, and it's
Yeah.
just like, dude, what are you doing? It's
Right.
so sweet. It's so sweet. But that I mean that's what it's about, you know, just trying to be better, and he's inspiring, and it's cool. And it takes
Yeah.
a lot to put your work out there, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like I used to be big into. I don't really do a whole lot of new construction now, but when I did with my previous company, I was really big into switch boxes and making them try to look amazing and stuff. And so that's really the only thing that like I post. I got the same thing. Oh, he's hourly. Oh, waste of this, waste of
Yeah.
that. I'm just like, I mean, good golly. So I am curious though. So you've probably been doing your panels like that for a long time. So you have a method. You do them quick. I'm assuming. So I guess maybe other contractors are just curious. Like, does doing your panels like that really affect your profits margins, or not really at this point? Because they may think, oh,
Mm,
well, he's taking way longer than what it should.
no. Even if it
Mm-hmm.
did, I would look past it simply because like I'm a craftsman and I just
Mm-hmm.
love to do that. If I never posted it on Instagram, I would still do the same panel. I
Sure.
just, I loved it for forever. Listen, my panels didn't always look like that either. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's an evolution, and if nobody was looking, I would still do the same thing. I really enjoy to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Like whenever I did my switches, I used to do these, and I still do them whenever I rough in switches. But I call them courtesy loops, a little loop, and then you go straight into the box. And people want to complain about like,
Right, right.
oh, it's taking so long to do that. I'm like, well, I bet you I could do it faster than you if you just put it straight in the box. Actually, it takes me longer to put it straight in the box. I got to fight it and get it in there
Right.
perfect. With a loop, I have some play. you know.
Right.
But yeah, there's just always going to be haters on. I mean,
Yeah.
the other day I made a reel, and it's just unbelievable the people things, the things that people say. So over the dumbest stuff.
It's a little crazy. And to your point, if you do something the same way over and over and over again, like it's going to become fast for you to do that.
Hmm.
Like
Yep.
your thing is switch loops. Like that's how I tie my panel. And when I go and stand in front of it, I don't even know another way to do it now. I just have my method. I get right
Sure.
into it, and that's it. Do they all come out like on point? Not always. Sometimes I am under the gun, but for the most part, like that's what I'm looking at.
Sure. Yeah. I would like to see a tutorial from you and Jimmy on that. I think that would catch a lot of traction to show like your process. If you can
For
fit
sure.
all that
Yeah.
in like a minute reel or something, I don't know if
I'm
that's
gonna do it.
possible, but
Yeah, I had somebody message me and they were like, "Dude, you should make an OnlyFans for your panel
yeah,
and start with like small clips to entice people, and then make them pay for the big one." And I was like, "It's actually not a bad idea."
yeah. Well, I think you're doing. It seems like you're doing really good just in business, and your channel. You're inspiring a lot of people to do better in their installs and stuff. I mean, like me, I'm inspired to actually try harder on my rough ends instead of trying to get in and out so fast.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I really appreciate that, and a lot of other people do. So we're almost at the 45-minute mark here. I wanted to ask you one more question in closing,
Sure.
Dominic. So like I said earlier, I get messages all the time about guys wanting to go into business and start their own electrical company. And you've been in this for a few years now. What advice would you give to someone that has those types of questions and is wanting to make that leap from employee to basically owner operator?
Yeah. Thank you for those words, man, and I appreciate that. What would I say to somebody? I mean, make sure you love this. Like, make sure you love the industry, you love the trade, you love what you do every day. Because, like I said earlier, when you lock that gang box at 3:30, your day's not over. In a sense, a new day starts, and you take it with you all day. And I think one thing for me personally that I would pass on, at least in my situation, you need a solid foundation and a good support system at home. If you're married or whatever your situation is, you have your partner. Owning and operating a business takes a lot of sacrifice, and I didn't know that in the beginning, but more so, I didn't know the sacrifice that my wife was going to take on too. So the long hours and the hours in the basement doing bids or bill outs, whatever the situation is, she's sacrificing that some things, that maybe she wanted to do today while I'm out
Sure.
here, putting the work in for this business. So I think the solid foundation support, having that common goal together, and knowing that this we're working towards that goal and hoping this sacrifice pays off.
Yeah, I definitely feel that, and I think a lot of other contractors or owner operators are feeling the same way. Just having a really hard time balancing work and life because if like for example if you're married, um, maybe your spouse or whatever isn't okay with that. Maybe they, like Rudy said in a live the other night, he's seen guys be successful and their sacrifice on both ends, and then you have some, you know, maybe the wife wants her husband home at 4:30 every day, and then they end up in a divorce because over something like that.
Right,
So
for
it's not
sure.
for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think the last thing would be, if I could tell myself this in the beginning, would be that saying: fail fast and fail often.
Mm,
Don't spend too much time overthinking anything. Every day is a learning curve. Don't beat yourself up. Fail fast. You learn, you get over it. Now you know for the next time, and you just go and go and go and go.
sure. Yeah. Well, that's good, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I forgot to ask you where can people find you on social media?
I appreciate you thinking of me and having me on here, man. This was awesome. Appreciate the opportunity. And the only channel I have is Instagram, and my tag is Diamond Electrical Solutions.
Oh, I was saying Diamondback. I'm sorry. I think earlier I
Yeah.
said Diamondback Electrical. So you're Diamond Electrical Solutions.
Yes.
Gotcha. Awesome. All right. Well,
Yep.
yeah. So y'all go follow Dominic there, and if you have any questions on how to do panels like that, you can hit him up for
Shoot
sure.
me a
Hopefully,
DM.
yeah. Hopefully, I'm gonna be looking for a tutorial.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Next time I get in front of one, I'll start filming it. I might need some help chopping it up because I'm not too savvy with that, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Dominic. It was good having you on, and thank you everyone for tuning in. And be on the lookout for more shows and podcasts coming up in the future.
Right on. Thank you.